From Naples, Florida, this is a One Extraordinary Marriage Show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex has taken the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call or text us on the HUG hotline at 858-876-5663, or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's episode, we're sharing our journey of a home restored after short selling our home in the Great Recession 15 years ago. It's been a journey of renting, multiple moves, and finally settling down permanent roots again here in Southwest Florida.
There's a quote from Vivian Greene that says, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain," which I think talks a lot about our story through this house and having a home restored, but it also speaks to living in Southwest Florida. So there's a little fun on that about dancing in the rain here in Florida. And, you know, we're so happy to have you tuning in today to listen to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. We consider you family, and we love starting every episode with a hug. And a hug is really an opportunity for us to celebrate you, to celebrate the transformation that you're having. And this hug comes from a 5-star review we received for the 6 Pillars of Intimacy, The Secret to an Extraordinary Marriage on Amazon. And it says, "This book was exactly what I was looking for. Coming from an abusive home, my husband and I always thought that it was me and my past issues coming between our intimacy and our marriage. But after reading this book, I realized that my past had less to do with the problems in our marriage. It was more about how I was treating him and how he was treating me. We both weren't doing much to create intimacy in our marriage. I felt like I was distant because of my past, but it was because we didn't have the knowledge and skills about what real intimacy is. This book covers everything and is a great read. I found myself many times going, yes, that's our problem. We don't do those things either." Hopefully my husband will embrace reading it as well, because I think it's the ticket to a great and lasting marriage.
Wow, that is awesome. And truly a blessing when you get those aha moments to think that, you know, you put words to pages that have impacted marriages, the world over. And so it's just amazing to hear this couple and this wife in particular go, wow, I can see some cracks, right? Like she said it, like we didn't know what real intimacy was and not putting in the effort. And yet one of the things we talk about here often is be intentional. Take action. If you haven't picked up that book, you know, go over to 6pillarsofintimacy.com. That will just direct you right to Amazon. Hardback, softback, audiobook. You grab what you need, but get it in your hands.
Absolutely. And, you know, as Tony said at the top of this episode, we're talking about a home restored. We're talking about a journey. And, you know, this episode is going to be probably part journey down memory lane.
Yep.
And part celebration, and probably a whole lot of it mixed in between. We started the podcast back in January of 2010. And just a little history, 2008, the Great Recession hits California.
It hits the nation.
Well, it hits the nation.
The world.
Hits the nation, hits the world. California slammed into the Great Recession, specifically the auto industry, like slamming into a Mack truck concrete wall. And Tony was in the auto industry at that point in time. And
for those of you who don't know, and if you're new, welcome. Love having you here. Back then, I was doing what is known as paintless dent repairs. I took dents out of cars. For those of you who live in like the Midwest states and everything where you get hail damage, you have these guys come out and take out those dents. Not if they're massive and huge and you got a total loss, but that sort of thing. I did that in California. I did more dealerships, auctions, retail clients. I'd go to people's homes, do door dings, things of that nature. But I did do some hail damage in my day as well.
You did. And Tony was the primary provider in our family. And so when that happened, it started a cascade of events. We did own a home at that period of time. And the cascading event led to us ultimately going through a short sale. 2010, 2011 timeframe. And then we were fortunate enough in that window to be able to rent back from the family that had purchased our home.
Fortunate, unfortunate. It was a weird place to be at that point in time in our lives. Yes.
It helped us not to have to like jump immediately. And that was
right. Try to reestablish ourselves with horrible credit at the point in time and no money in our accounts.
Right. It was disastrous. Yes. And it actually, in that point in time started, 2010, 11, 12, started us back into this world of renting.
Mm-hmm.
And we have rented ever since. We have made multiple moves. I was actually, as we were preparing for this episode and thinking about the fact that we would, had been in this real estate market here in Southwest Florida and looking at homes, I started counting up how many moves we've had just since 2012.
Yeah.
6 moves.
6. So every 2 years.
Every 2 years, give or take. And every house has had its own personality, which always makes trying to fit furniture into places exceptionally fun. And
but I will say, it has been fun being in different homes, living in different places, getting to experience new communities, new neighborhoods. Some were amazing, welcomed us in, we had bought the place.
Yeah.
Others
I know
barely
which
even.
one you're thinking of there.
Yeah. Others barely even talked to us. But over those years, we did have some really cool experiences. And even our last place in San Diego, we were blessed to live right next door to a family whose children went to the same high school our kids went to. One of the guy was a coach and
at the high school,
had coached our oldest. And so great family to have lived next to, and great conversations and everything.
And I want to say from the get-go, this is not just an episode about, buying or renting homes, right?
Yeah.
There's been this crazy journey over all of these years. And like Tony said, we've been in this place where we've had some of the most amazing friends and been in incredible communities. And there was never this necessarily this place of lack.
No.
Right? Because we always, it was funny. It was always God always leveled up a house, because we would pray for our houses and, pray for the next house. And sometimes we had to pray really fast because we'd get, crazy, you got to move type deal. But every house just seemed to one up.
Except this one, this one, I would say, and when I say this one, the one we live in right now in Southwest Florida, it's a wonderful place. The pool, amazing. I am so happy that our friend who's here in Naples,
our realtor,
but she's more of a friend than our realtor,
yes.
I would say. She just helped us walk through purchasing the new home. That she was very adamant, you guys need to find a place and rent a place with a pool, which I am so happy she said.
Can you imagine? We'd be miserable.
Oh, we'd be miserable. We love our pool. The house is yellow. We call it the yellow house.
It will always be the yellow house.
And it was furnished when we rented it, which was great because we sold everything.
Which was also a blessing.
And yet, it's over furnished, so it's not mine and Elisa's style. So it can feel a little tight. Love the owners, though. Have become
incredible family.
An incredible family. And so these are sort of the things that happen when you do get to rent and put yourself out in different situations as we have. I'm not saying it's for everybody. It's what has been our path and our journey. But some places better than others.
Absolutely. And, part of the story too is, and we've shared this bits and pieces over the years of doing the podcast, because our rental journey is almost as long as our podcast journey. It's pretty close. We were actually, there's a lot of coincidences.
You got to give us credit. Going through what we were going through to then buy equipment that we could barely even afford, to then even start podcasting when no one knew what it was back in 2010. I think that was a relief and a release valve for me, because we were going, and I'm just thinking about that right now, it was something else to put my mind on and focus on.
Yeah. And what I was going to say, because we had that stress, and then I've said it many times on this show, but one of the things that I experienced as a child was my parents losing a home, going through foreclosure. And I've said it from stages. I've said it on the podcast. One of the things I told Tony when we were dating and engaged, I'm I don't ever want to lose a home that. We can go through a lot. I don't want to do that. We did it. There were a lot of tears, just a lot of heartbreak around that. And yet we've been on this incredible journey, and we have had all of these different homes, and we have had some crazy experiences. We had 2 different instances where we loved the house. We're like all about like, hey, let's do multi-year leases and that type of thing. And then we'd get the email or the phone call saying, hey, we've decided to sell the house and you've got, 60 days to find another place.
One house
at the start of the school year.
Yep. And one house, actually, the mother had passed. The owner. And so the kids were taking it over. We had actually signed the lease. We were just waiting for her
dying.
We were waiting for her to sign it. Unfortunately, she passed before that. And the children obviously took over the home. And I remember them asking, they're like, hey, we're going to sell. And we're like, totally understand. We get it. We understand. Wish we could buy it because we would have bought that home. We just didn't have the cash at that point in time to make things happen. And so I remember them asking us, they're like, hey, would it be okay if we have photographers come in and take pictures of the home, because we want to sell it? And then could we, have an open house or this, that, and the other? We had paid for a friend to come in and design?
Yeah, I mean, she actually staged our home. She's a home stager, and so she staged our home in San Diego so that we could live in it, because that's just not a gift that I have. Thank God for friends that do interior design well. But yeah, so the home looked beautiful.
And so when we would go back and look at that place, and if you go onto like a Zillow or Redfin, you could look, and it was all our
Still
stuff.
Us.
Yeah, there were pictures of us on the walls. So it was just, some of those things. But it's also having a gracious heart in working with us personally, just even working with our homeowners and being good renters, and ones that would be very clear and open with our owners. And I think that's something that you and I have done very well in this process, is get to know the owners if we could, or even in management companies. I got to know our management company for the 2 in San Diego so well. Like, I'd go in there and I'd just talk to them, but they were the ones who would help us when one of them that we had lived at for 4 or 5 years, the owner decided they were going to sell. And I was like, I have no idea what to do. I was the one calling the property management, talking to the woman there that I knew and going, I need help. Like, this market is nuts. I can't find anything. And she's like, give me a few days, Tony. And she was the one, somebody was moving, and she goes, Tony, go look at it now. If you want it, it's yours. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we would just go, all right, we're going. And we went and we looked. We're like,
I literally hopped off I remember that. I hopped off a coaching call. It was 10 minutes, or not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes from one house to the other, and was like, yep, this will work. And we've had those stories. And then, a year ago, August 24, we moved to Southwest Florida. And we moved tropical storm and 2 massive hurricanes later. We decided
were north of us. Those
they didn't hit.
Yeah, those were Helene and Milton, but they were north of us.
So they didn't actually hit where we are, but we experienced living hurricane.
Yeah, and both of those names have been.
Did they both get retired?
They both got retired. Yeah. So those names we will never see again.
That's a year. That's good. Nobody needs to see Helene or Milton again.
Ever again.
But a big part of moving to Southwest Florida, people are like, ooh, heat, humidity, and hurricanes, right? The triple H's. And we got through heat, humidity, and hurricanes, and we're like, you know what? We still really like it here. Mm-hmm. And so in December, we actually started saying, well, what would this look like? And, a big part of the journey is walking through the what's next. How do you restore that? And we're going to talk about that final piece of the chapter right after this break. Can I be real with you for a second? I've been using Go Pure's Tighten and Lift Neck Cream for a few weeks, and I'm amazed at how much my neck skin has improved. The texture is so much smoother. We spend so much time caring for our face, but what about our neck? With summer here, our necks are more exposed than ever in sundresses and swimsuits. But neck skin is thinner and more delicate than your face, which means it needs extra love, especially in the sun and heat. I love Go Pure's Tighten and Lift Neck Cream. It's powered by clinically proven ingredients designed to visibly firm and smooth that delicate neck skin in 4 to 8 weeks. The products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, and sulfate-free, so you're giving your skin clean, effective care without harsh chemicals. With over 1 million jars sold, the beauty secret is no longer a secret. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off GoPure with code MARRIAGE at checkout. Just head to gopurebeauty.com, use code MARRIAGE, and you're all set. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask where you heard about GoPure, tell them it was from our show.
The Disney Plus Hulu HBO Max bundle. Plans starting at just $16.99 a month.
No one will ever break us apart.
Catch Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts: The New Avengers on Disney Plus.
You can't escape the past.
Alien Earth on Hulu.
This ship collected monsters.
And Final Destination: Bloodlines on HBO Max.
Death is coming for our family.
The Disney Plus Hulu HBO Max bundle. Plans starting at $16.99 a month. All these and more streaming soon. Visit Disney Plus Hulu HBO Max bundle.com for details.
We're back, and we've been sharing this journey, right, that started in 2008, really. I mean, you think about it, it started with the recession. And here we are. Gosh, now that I put that number on it, we're 17 years later, which is crazy to me. But like I was saying right before the break, we started looking December. Our realtor friend was like, would you please just go look at open houses? Go like all over this corridor here in Southwest Florida where you think you guys want to be, and just start seeing what's out there.
Yep.
Start seeing what's out there. And so we'd go and we're like, oh, there's new builds, new construction, there's, existing homes. Do we want to be in a community? Do we want to stand alone? Like all of these different things. How many bedrooms do we need? How many bathrooms do we need? Do we need a pool?
Yes.
All of those types of things. And
through all this though too, I mean, it was really fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
In California, the years that we were there, and I just want to share this with folks. Many of you could probably go, why didn't you just buy a home back in California? Why didn't you just go do this? Every time we tried to save up enough or tried to get in a position where we felt comfortable, and Elisa and I are a little conservative when it comes to looking at homes and how much we are paying. For us, there's a comfort level. For you, that may be different. For some of you, you're real estate investors and you're all in and you're doing this, that, and the other. I get it. I grew up with a dad who was a plumber and a general contractor, built spec homes, 5,000 square feet. I mean, we're talking in like PGA West of La Quinta,
Palm Springs.
You're talking some
Palm
of the
Desert,
nicest
Wells,
places you could think about in Southern California. My dad was like, I'm gonna go buy that plot of land and I'm building a big old 5,000 square foot home and we're gonna just sell it. And he did that multiple times. Elisa and I aren't those people. So everybody has a different level, especially when it comes to our financial intimacy. And that's one of our pillars. And so we begin to save in different ways and do different things, but California's market continued to jump. And we just didn't feel comfortable in it. And so that's how we sort of just got priced out of the market, and we were sort of done with California some years ago anyways. And so when we came here, it was actually a lot of fun because, as Elisa was saying, there were new builds. You could go look at new communities. You could look at homes that were built 5 years ago. You could go into places that, like Elisa said, were just on a nice lot and a gate or no gate or whatever it could be, and everything in between. And so we had so much fun just dreaming and looking and seeing, and the landscape here is vastly different than Southern California where we lived. And so it was like, what do we want? What do we need? And I've had many conversations with one of my good buddies who I've known for many, many decades, in San Diego, and he would just tell us, like, when we were in San Diego in June.
He sat down with us. So we were just grabbing coffee and we were talking about the whole house thing. And he's like, well, what really matters? And ironically enough, we had actually put in an offer before we'd gone to San Diego. It had been rejected by the seller, and I had told our realtor, I said, here's the deal. We're just going to put everything on, like, we're not going to counter. We're just going to put it all on hold until we come back. So we're in San Diego. We meet up with one of Tony's best friends for coffee, and he's like, well, what really matters to you guys? Like, you're all over the place. You're talking about a pool, and you're talking about 3 bathrooms, and you're talking, like, what matters? And so and
it was really funny because for him, he still lives in San Diego. He's like, for me, I wanted to be able to see out of my living room a palm tree.
Yes.
Like, for him, that was a big thing. And then for his wife, I forget what she wanted, but there was something that she really wanted. And everything else, there was sort of some fluidity. He did also want like a granny flat and all this sort of stuff. But it was just sort of interesting when you talk to other people, and we've talked to other people as well, like, this is what we really want. And it's really fun to see and hear how people see their home and what they really want.
So we come back And we're just looking. We also know that we're kind of trying to figure out like where Abby's going to live for, starting college and all of these different things. And we had actually looked at this one community back in January or February. We'd gone, they were doing a health fair.
The actual community. Yes.
They were doing a health fair. It was the height of season here in Southwest Florida. And we walk into this health fair and we're like, we're a lot younger than everybody that's at the health fair. And so
which is not uncommon here in Southwest Florida.
And it was just, I don't know what our headspace was that day that we were looking, but so we go and we write off this community. We're like, we're not going there, whatever. That's not happening. And so we come back from San Diego. It's like the third week in June. It's right before, maybe the last week in June. And I'm like, okay, God, like, here's the deal. We need to find a house. Like, these are the conversations I have with God. And so I'm like, well, let me just look in this one community just to see. And I pop up this community. There is the very first picture for our home was the picture of the pool. And the pool had a Baja shelf or a sun shelf, depending on what part of the country you're in. And I have always wanted. It's the 6 to 9 inches where you can just kind of like sit and you don't have to actually get wet.
When you think of a resort and you go to a resort and
most resort
pools, they're gonna have a shelf, a sun shelf, Baja shelf, whatever you want to call it, where you can just lay in. And that was honestly for Elisa and I something that we were like, oh my gosh,
because they don't do it here.
They don't do it here. It's a newer feature. And so we were like, if we could find a home with that, because it's just right, especially in the heat of summer here, where you still want to get some sun, but you want to be in the water, still want to be getting a little tan in and enjoying it. And so, that first picture was like,
I was like, oh my gosh. And then it had 3 bathrooms. And I'm like, thank God, because we need an extra bathroom.
We wanted those 3 bathrooms.
Right. And then it was set up because of just figuring out like guest suites and things like that. It was set up perfectly with the 2 stories guest suite. And so we look at this house and we're like, okay, this might be it. And sure enough, 4th of July, we go into escrow. And
it was 4th of July.
It was 4th of July because we were with friends.
We were with our real estate agent, more of our friends. because we hang out with them for our holidays. And so we're all talking and she's like, hey, I got the offer. The offer back, and like it was something, I forget how everything went, but it was signed and we were like, holy cow, we're going into escrow for the first time in many years.
As of this recording, we just closed yesterday on this house, on what has become a dream home, what has definitely established the fact that we are permanent in Florida.
For the time being.
I'm not going anywhere, dude. You want to go somewhere else? You figure that out. I'm not going anywhere.
So really, this episode is just sharing a story of redemption, of life, right? A lot of times we'll come on and we're talking about a specific topic. And yet, in each of our journeys of marriage, things are going to come up. Things are going to change. Dreams are not going to go the way you want them to. You may fall down. You may get to the high of the highs, and it may be the best thing ever. I think for Elisa and I, we wanted to share this story, one for you, and one probably for our grandchildren to listen to many days from now, many years from now. Years from now. And maybe even for our own children, because they get to see it right now, but it may be different for them when we're older and, we're no longer doing this anymore. So I think the big thing for Elise and I was to share, like, your financial intimacy matters. Mm-hmm. Your emotional intimacy matters. All of your intimacies matter. Your spiritual intimacy matters. Life happens. There are journeys we are all on that impact us, impact our marriage, and yet there can be restoration. There can be a closing of one chapter and walking into the next, which is what we're doing. And Elise and I have both said and alluded to, like, yes, we did purchase a home here in Southwest Florida. We are not leaving this area. We love it. We enjoy it. And we decided to go, you know what? If we do, then we're going to make our permanent residence here. We are going to stay here. We are going to put in roots here. And so for you, as you think about your life, where you're at, what you're doing, what you're going through, wherever you may be, know that when you look at your pillars of intimacy, they all work. They're all working hand in hand. And a dream that may have been lost can still come. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you are in life. A dream that you may have had, that you may have put aside and said it's no longer going to happen for us, can still happen. It may not be in the time frame you want or expect or how you see it happening. And yet I believe if you press in, work together, work through your pillars, determine what you want, where you're going. And again, it may not be material. I'm not saying it's a material item. It doesn't have to be. There can be lost dreams in many areas. And so it's amazing. I will say this, we already made one load and my whole body hurts from moving, and I'm done moving.
Well, that's why when you're like, maybe. And a huge shout out to our entire team who made this happen, because literally we were surrounded by folks that were praying for us all along this transaction. Those that we worked with providing services. So whether we're talking title or mortgage or, our realtor or whatever, but also so many of you were praying and have prayed for us to find a home over the years. And we just want you to know we're walking in answered prayers. And we're super excited for what this next chapter is going to be. Are you looking at me because I'm crying?
No, I think it's wonderful. You said this next chapter, and I'm going to throw in this one last little thing, and then we're going to end it today.
All right.
We found out about a month and a half ago, our oldest has decided.
Is this a cliffhanger to this
Yes.
episode?
Our oldest has decided to move to Florida to be with us. And so what we thought was going to be the start of a trajectory towards getting the youngest Abby to college and out, and us being to live that empty nester lifestyle that we've talked about for some time now. We are now back with both children.
Boomerang.
Here, living with us. We love it. It's a change. It brings other, I'm not going to say cracks, but possible friction and complication to the pillars.
Just requires a whole new level of intentionality.
And so, again, this is life. This is the journey each of us are on in different places, in different stages. Our prayer for you, no matter where you're at, no matter what's going on in your marriage, know that you have each other. Stick to one another. Look at your pillars of intimacy. Which one has a crack? Which one do we need to be intentional on? Which one do we need to take action in? And do it step by step by step by step. Little ones, day after day, committed to doing it, can make massive changes months, years down the road. And so with that, we thank you guys for allowing us to go down memory lane, share what we've gone through, where we are today, and as I shared, what may come with all four of us living under the same roof once again. You guys have yourselves a fantastic week. Take care. God bless. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. If you love this podcast, please leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Your review helps others find the show and know that it's the right fit for them and their marriage.